know, to be with a young man who's probably one of the premier photographers in the world. His name is Jon Lopez. Well, John, we have to do the customary handshake. Thank you for stopping by the MECCA podcast. We'll jump right into it. I know that you're one of the world famous photographers in the world. What made you get into photography?
Man, photography for me is one mode and one medium of communication. It's always been important to me to be able to tell the story of these basketball stories that are all around us all the time. So I've been doing storytelling from the grassroots level all the way up to the Olympics. It's been a real honor and a privilege to be able to do that. My mom was kind of the centerpiece of the family. She had all the photo albums in the family. So
the one like on the table?
Yeah, she had disposable cameras. Perhaps not the greatest photographer, you know, but she always had disposable cameras, the Polaroids back in the day. So like we would go to, you know, all the family gatherings and everything. We were the spot that had all the photos. So that kind of stuck in the back of my mind. So I think for me, my dream was to play in the NBA. So I took that very seriously. Right. So like I'm up in the morning early, I'm working on my game all the time, and you know how it is. From basketball, like I could say honestly, like I'll be conservative, but I'll say like 85% of my core values come from the game. They just transcend the game into real life. You know, so it's the same thing. I use that same work ethic when I'm thinking about making my photos. You know, so I knew like I went to Norman Thomas High School at the time, but Louis Flores was there, Sylvester Johnson, Jonathan Oliver, 4 guys who were nominated for the McDonald's All-American. Really good. The only reason I got a shot was because A, I was on the practice team, and B, I knew that 3 of them were failing off the team. So I had
from January.
You know what I mean? But like I still like my favorite part of that was never like playing in the game. I just wanted to be in practice. So we had like the deepest roster I'd ever been a part of. And anyway, just learning from that, like we had to go to practice at 6 in the morning, so we had practice again after school. And so just trying to transcend it from there into photography, like I'm not traditionally trained as a photographer.
You did it on your own.
Yeah, I got the opportunity. I played for the Boys Club of New York's academic all-star basketball program. We played against different independent boarding schools across the Northeast mostly. And I didn't even notice at the time when I was on the team, but I was like being considered as a candidate to go to one of these schools. I was just there because I thought it was the best basketball team I could be a part of. And anyway, I ended up getting the opportunity to go to one of these schools, and I had to repeat. Like now it's reclassified. I repeated my junior year.
What school?
Millbrook School. It's a tiny school. It wasn't like a particularly strong basketball program or nothing like that. In fact, Norman Thomas's basketball program was way stronger, but I didn't know that at the time. Like, in my mind, like prep school, McDonald's game.
That's it. There we go. We're on my way.
That's what I was thinking. So anyway, from there, I had this extra year of high school, so now I had room in my class schedule. So my senior year was my second senior year, I guess. I decided to take a photography class, introductory class, in a dark room. And my grandmother had gotten me this camera.
Like a real dark room?
Like shaping it out, film, working with the chemicals, And it was so funny. I wasn't like heavy into photography again. Like I was delusional. I think I was going through the mix. I ran that you wouldn't get that shit. But when I was in the dark room, like you have to pay attention. Every single thing matters. Any mistake you make and your whole roll of film is finished, right? So you gotta make sure you're in complete darkness when you're taking the film out and putting it in the canister. You gotta put exactly the right amount of chemicals to shape them up, blah, blah, blah. So, and then like when you're printing it, like it's a long process. So if you make a mistake along the way, you might not know to the end. It's like, oh, you gotta start all the way from scratch. You know what I mean? So it gets frustrating. But going through that process reminded me of being on a basketball court. Like being a hooper, like when I was upset, when I was just sad, disappointed, happy, and for every emotion, I was on the court. That was your sanctuary. Exactly. So being on the court, like being in a dark room for the first time, gave me a similar kind of feeling of solace, and I never forgot that. I sucked. I was terrible. But I learned the process, and it was so amazing, and it really helped me to focus and take my time in a way that I would when I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be a practice game, so that I could get the things that I wanted. And that never left me. When I went to college, I didn't take any photography classes in college either because there was a drawing and painting prerequisite. And I sucked at drawing and painting, so I was like, I'm not going to get this D on my report card or my GPA to do this. So I didn't do it. But what I did do in college, like I was very active outside of the classroom. And so
student government stuff?
Not student government, almost everything else but student government. I was part of all the cultural groups, so the Latin American Student Organization, the Brothers Organization, there was a group we had called We Funk. And We Funk was like to bring alternative forms of entertainment to the campus, which really meant like black entertainment to the campus. So I became the president of that organization. So like we're having parties, I'm DJing the parties, we're having fashion shows and other events and everything. That's how I ended up teaching myself Photoshop. So I do all my homework during the day. I'm pulling all night and trying to figure out
Photoshop is real, bro.
The learning curve is steep. It's so steep, you know. In hindsight, I'm so glad that I did that. I was terrible. Like, it would take me like 5 hours to do something that today I could probably do in 2 minutes.
I can believe
But I was learning. You know, I was learning, and that really helped me to kind of, you know, push myself and know that like, this isn't easy. But I'm a fan. And I wasn't editing, even back then, I wasn't editing photos per se. I was making posters for my parties. And then, you know, fast forward after that, after college, I worked at the Boys Club in New York. I went back to visit my mentor after I graduated just to say hello. My idea was I'm not going to the league.
Right.
I had gone.
When did that click in? The league was not an option.
When I got cut, man. So I had a little bit of hubris. Because I was recruited by some Division I schools, low major. UNH, and I wasn't recruited. I ended up going to Colgate University. I wasn't recruited, but I knew that UNH was much bigger than Colgate, so I figured I'll go to Colgate, I'll get the academics, and I'll obviously make the team. I'm being recruited by bigger, better schools than Colgate. Right? It's not the way that works. I didn't contact the coach ahead of time.
Like I'm here.
None of that. Yeah, I just showed up like, what's good? Where's my uniform at?
New York City, baby.
So, I mean, I did work hard to try to make the team. I took it very seriously, and it broke my heart when I got cut. It was like so painful, but I still felt like I had a lot to contribute to the game. And I was, you know, I had a little, you know, I'm from New York, and I had a lot of confidence. Like, you still, just because I didn't make the team didn't mean I wasn't in the top 5 players in the school. I still felt like I was one of the best players in the school. So I kept trying. You know, they gave me like some small opportunities here and there. And you know, my freshman year was also Carmelo Anthony's freshman year, so I got to ride the bench eventually when we played against Syracuse that year. Which was kind of cool, like to figure out 15 years later, 10 years later, now like I was doing a lot of work with Jordan Brand and Carmelo Anthony.
That's great.
Which is kind of cool to laugh about that with him. But yeah, so I did that. That didn't work out. Then I studied abroad. I did a semester in London, and I was like, I couldn't not play basketball, so I was like eagerly trying to find courts in London. When I was out there, I found this one CA, some young cats hooping there, and then. From there, I found out about Brixton, and I went to Brixton. It was like, yo, you gotta come through this good run over there with the team.
That's like the hood of London?
Yeah. So I go over there, and there's this legendary coach, Jimmy, who coached Lou Aldane when he played for the Brixton Tomcats. And so I didn't know this, but these were like tryouts, but I was just like hooping, like pickup, and then like I made this team.
Yeah, what?
It's crazy. So I'm out there, and I made this like semi-pro team. I didn't get paid or anything like that, but it was great to occupy my time. It was like a structured basketball environment, and I loved it. I got to travel around England a little bit.
That's fine.
With the team, just to hoop, you know. So that was really fun. It was very short-lived, but it was dope to be able to have that. But still, that was like, I'm definitely not going to the league. So I wanted to make a lot of money though. I'm like, well, if I'm not going to go to the league, I still wasn't thinking like, what else can I do? I was thinking like,
no plan B.
I come from a family where like we grew up on welfare, single parent household, 2 younger siblings. You know, it was a struggle. The Lower East Side was different back then. I lived in pre-gentrified Lower East Side.
Yeah, I remember that. I played in the fish. It was a little different. I was carrying my stuff to the pool.
Yes.
Back here all the time.
So anyway, after that, so I go back to the Boys Club where I grew up. You know, I'm in that organization since I was 6 years old. And I go to say hi to my mentor, who's my basketball coach. But by this time, by the time I graduated from college, he had become the executive director of the organization. So I'm sitting down having a casual conversation, and you know, me and my back of my mind thinking about trying to get into like investment banking or something, so I can try to get my family out of the hood. And he offers me a job at a nonprofit organization, which is the opposite of Wall Street. So I couldn't tell him no. This is like a guy who kind of like filled the void. It was like my father figure, right, with the whole organization. So I said yes. I take a job at the Boys Club, which I love. I always had intentions of always going back to the Boys Club and volunteering to coach and do all of those things. But anyway, while I was there, I learned a ton. I got some impacts on the programs. I volunteered coaching the academic all-star program I played for, which was great, a lot of fun. But we started this run. My man Manny Maldonado.
I know Manny, yeah. I know Manny.
So Manny had started this run, he called it For the Love Run on Thursday nights. It was like an industry influencer kind of run. And like, you know, Paul Rivera's, Bobbito, Garcia, Headache was in this run. All these guys used to come in, Nike guys and stuff, like a kind of an extension of the NRF.
Yeah, I remember that. That was in LES also, right?
Yeah, Civic Park. It wasn't a league though, it was just a pick-up game, so every Thursday night. So anyway, I worked at the Boys Club and they invited me every Thursday night. It was 15 cats. I was still pretty competitive. It was like soon after college, I was in shape, we were hooping. And it was a lot of fun, but basically just all like, you know, all of us were past our primes.
Right,
Nobody was going to leave, everybody thought they were so nice. So on Friday mornings, I used to write this email talking trash to everybody about how bad all of us were. Myself included, but usually myself the least, right? I was the least bad.
Of course, y'all was bad, me too.
exactly. I had to knock top 10. So it became like a thing. So guys used to be calling me at like 6 in the morning, like, yo, don't forget you tried to airball last night. Right. Like, make sure you mention that in there or whatever. And I didn't know at the time that Bobbito Garcia was the editor-in-chief of Bounce Magazine.
Bounce, right.
So from my emails talking trash, everybody's like, yo, your emails are kind of funny. Would you be interested in writing for Bounce Magazine? I was like, oh, wow. I was an English major in college. I was like, yeah, I would love to do that, you know. And I was already playing in some of the leagues in the city. So I would go to the leagues then. If I played, I would play my game. I would stick around for the next one and write about it. Or I would just go to the other parks and document the games. But I noticed that there weren't a lot of photos going on my stories. So I started looking around, and it was going like this. I started bringing my own camera to the parks. So I started bringing my own camera to the parks and to just accompany my story. And then, you know, I was like, I love this way more than writing. You know, and so I kept doing both as long as Bounce was around. Bounce magazines, you know, is now the fun.
Bounce.
I miss Bounce.
It used to be in front of every street corner, like a mailbox, or right there. You just take one and just keep moving.
Amazing, man. It was super talented. People was like, in hindsight, I didn't leverage my network perhaps as I should have back then, but like in hindsight, there was nothing but heavy hitters in there. You know what I mean?
Heavy hitters now. Like now. You mentioned 3. You said you said Paul. Justin was probably in there too. Justin, Paul, Bob.
Bobbito. Then Stanley Dumax. He was shooting. He was shot the covers for that.
Yeah, he was photographer. Right.
And there was so many others though, like, you know, my man Lower East Scribe, Terrence Watson.
I remember
another Lower East Side brother. But like, it was just crazy. So anyway, I started doing that, and then like that's how my photos started becoming more popular. And then finally in 2008 or 2009. Sean Couch, legend. He was.
Sean Couch was nice at Columbia.
This is what I heard.
He was nice. He got drafted.
Yeah.
But I mean, this one drafted like 16 rounds. It's like 30 rounds. But he was nice. He was really, really good. All right,
this is the word I hear. So anyway, I'm up at Dykeman. I was like floating around all the courts, tri-states, and like all of them. And then I took a liking, and Joe Pope was like became my guy. I was going to watch and see Joe Pope, and then Joe Pope started doing Dykeman more and more, so I was going to Dykeman more and more. And I noticed that the park was getting really packed for all the bigger games, and I knew that the championship game was going to be especially crazy. So Sean Couch gave me the idea. He's like, yo, you should try to get like an aerial shot, you know what I'm saying, see if you can get up high. It's a train, or even higher than a train. So I'm like, that's a great idea, I'm going to try it. You know what I mean, see what happens. So championship comes and the park is crazy.
Who was the champ? You remember? Probably Dominican Republic.
No, Bengals All Stars versus Team Harlem. It was Harlem. It might have been just Team Harlem, but it was Kendall Prophet who was on their team. They called him Mr. 94 Feet. Wasn't his official nickname, but he was a defender. He called everybody 94 feet the whole time.
Oh, so you mean to tell me indictment?
Dominican Power didn't make it.
Dominican Power didn't make it?
Not that yet.
But Strick was there?
Yeah, Strick was there.
God was there.
Bengals I know. Bengals All Stars was powerful. Bengals All Stars had Kemba Walker, who was in Rice High School at the time. They had Ann Glover, Mike Glover. They had Gary Irvin.
So it was power. Okay, all right, that's legit. That's legit.
I think Sack might have been on that team too. Like, they were stacked.
Okay, got it. All right, they're pretty good.
The Harlem squad had a crew too, but they were like more like just a little bit more raw. They didn't have like all the names and right, but they came to play every single.
Like, no word, you got him. Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's go.
So anyway, it was a goodie, and the park was crazy. People couldn't get in. People sitting in the trees and all that. So I saw a little kid, and I'm like, yo, Shorty, can you help me get into this building? So he got me in. I took the elevator to the top floor, went up on the roof.
What building? Okay, behind the train. Yep.
And so like I was up there by myself on the roof, and I see this action. And it was like this like magical thing. I was like, yo, this is the culture. This is like the culture of basketball right here. And I was snapping away, and then like the next day it was on my blog on Bounce Magazine. The subsequent issue of Bounce Magazine publishes a double truck image and a centerfold.
Oh, so you open up, it was there.
Yeah.
That picture became like iconic with street ball throughout the world. It's just like, for those that don't know, it's like an area view of you just looking down. It's like a big circle around the basketball court. That became like oh, New York is popping.
Yeah.
That's when it took you off.
I think so. After that, like Nike reached out to me to license that photo, and I started getting a lot more work. And again, like that was kind of like the blessing of this network. I was kind of like a part of, but didn't really know I was a part of. You know what I mean? Like that Bounce network, it really did a lot. You know, Bobbito never misses an opportunity to remind me.
Yeah, he doesn't miss it.
That's my man. I love him. But it's true though. You know, like that connection with Bounce Magazine really kind of helped launch things for me. And so later on, it was Stanley Lumax, who was then at Nike. At that point, Nike NYC. He started inviting me to do a lot more work with Nike NYC to cover the tournament champions. You know, I was there when Antoine Antifreeze Dobie put up 44 points in back-to-back games to take Money Train to the chip. Where he lost to X-Men and Mike the Icon Campbell. You know, so that was amazing. You know, and I was at all the subsequent ones too when they did the Brooklyn Navy Yards and the whole facade was there. No, that was before the EVO. This was the tournament of champions, you know, when they bring the teams from Chicago.
Oh, yeah. When Bingo had a team.
Bingo was the goal, but it was like Team Nike, right? So it represented the city. So you had like a team representing New York. Remember, they had all the teams compete. So it would be like Gersh versus
West Wall,
and then they put together an all-star team.
Right, I remember Rob had a team.
Yeah, well, I think
Rob won like 3 tournaments that year.
Yeah, Rob, they were good, man. But like I think it was Bingo and maybe Rob both were coaching this team. It was like a representative team. And the same thing from Chicago. The best players from Chicago, the best players from the Goodman League, DC.
I remember that.
What's the
one? Julie.
Julie. Yep. So they had all those guys like Marcus Williams came out, he was playing for them. So it was a big deal.
I remember that.
Really nice. And KD and at the time James Harden was down with Nike back then, so they were there. But Fly Williams and Pee Wee Kirkland were in the team. It's like it was a whole lot of buckets in the building.
Wow. I scored 20 out at Basketball City.
Yeah, this is different. This is really different. But yeah, man, it's been really great. And like I was saying earlier, communication, telling this story. You know, like I said before, today you go to any of these parks and there's dozens of cameras and people are kind of going in and they're eager to document this and they're eager for like the social media attention that could go with it if they get the right photo.
Right. They're seeking it.
Yeah, I think so. You know, but like for me, this was like my opportunity to tell the story through my lens. You know, I'll never forget some of the stories when I was growing up. You know, Magic, Sydney from Lower East Side.
Yes, they called him. He could play a little bit.
He was killing. When I was young, I looked up to him like, dang, like this dude is nice. I seen him come to Hamilton Fish. When it first started, he came to the men's league. He was like 18. He got to a game at halftime and finished with 45 points. That
wasn't my team play because Bill. I wouldn't let Bill do that.
That's another one, man. So anyway, Magic, you know, 6 foot tall, Lower East Side legend, guard, lefty, hat hops, really good player. On Houston Street by the Root Projects, there was a basketball court. We used to call it Half Moon because one of the baskets was 10 feet, but the other one was higher. We said it was Half Moon because it was like half the distance between Earth and Moon. It was high. It was probably really like maybe 11 feet or 11 and a half feet.
On Houston or what?
It was on Houston. It was like right going to the FDR Drive, the Root Projects.
On the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. After the library?
It's past the library if you're going towards the river.
Yep.
But it's no longer there anymore. Now,
I remember
the new Lower East Side is a parking lot. But anyway, so the rim was crazy high. Like me and my boys, we all would try to dunk on it. We would come in like 2 feet short.
You're jumping on 11 foot.
It's ridiculous, right? So one day, of course, when I'm not in the park, all these guys come back like, yo, Magic dunked on Half Moon. Which is crazy, it's like magical story. And I'm like, man, like in my mind, I could see the image, like wow, I could see it in slow motion, even though it wasn't actually there. And we, you know, my boys like tell somebody, you paint this picture in your head, like man, like he went off for 2 feet, you know what I mean? Like, it's those kind of stories that they never get told.
Right.
To your point, you know, we used to have crazy runs. And the Lower East Side is small, but like, we used to go on to AUDREY and play those guys over there. We used to go up the hills and play 34 and have these battles. We'd be like till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning playing basketball in the summertime. There was no cameras out there for any of this. You know, all these like great runs. And even like, I say this, I'm definitely nowhere near an elite basketball player, never have been, but like even Jason Williams, who was the center for Lower East Side, like he hooped through his course, right? There's good runs. You know the same thing is true in Harlem and in the Bronx, all over the city. Like, good basketball. So I think about these visions in my head, and now when I go, you know, going back to doing work with Nike NYC, that kind of slowly led to me doing 3-on-3 basketball for FIBA. Right, my man Kevin Coolio, doing the Parker film and all that. And Kevin knew the guys from FIBA for his work with them, and they were starting to try to pitch this idea to make 3-on-3 basketball an Olympic sport. And so they started, well, I don't know if they started in New York, but when they came to New York, they had a 3-on-3 tournament at the same time as Hoop It Up in the same City Field parking lot. It was 2 separate events, but they just happened to be going on at the same time in the same space. And it didn't look promising. You know, I felt like the talent for New York, because I knew all the ball players in New York, like, none of them were out there. I mean, Speedy was there, but Speedy by that point, he was already past his prime. 45 probably,
That's the one in City Field, so it was like, 2010?
Probably, yeah. So, anyway, from that, like, I thought it was kind of cool. I noticed they were going to Miami, they were going to Puerto Rico, so I was like, I want to shoot these things everywhere.
Right.
So I was kind of talking to the people who hired me. I'm like, let me know about this. And my schedule was totally clear. I had nothing to do. I was like, let me know about this schedule because I want to lock it in for you before anything else comes up.
You look at it like that's nothing. They don't know. But
then it worked and they hired me and then, like that led to like basketball. The game like it's a universal language, like I said. So FIBA's headquarters is in Switzerland. But these people are amazing. Like they speak like 10 languages. It's unbelievable. I love working with all of them. Such good people. So anyway, we were in Miami for the 3-on-3 championship for that year or season or whatever. And I offered to play 2-on-2. I was there with Kevin Coolio from France, who also hoops. And we offered to play the communications people from FIBA 2-on-2 while we were out there. So we split the games, 1-on-1, 1-in-1. And I said, you know what?
Could they hoop or they were just usually?
Nah, well, one of them was a former national team player for Switzerland. But they didn't think like they think New York guys. Like, they also hit them with a lot of dribble cross. So anyway, I was like, you know what? We're gonna have to do the championship and maybe in Rio for the Olympics or something like that. And everybody laughed and joked like, I see your strategy. Speaking it into existence, So that was years before the Olympics, obviously. But then that led to me doing more work with FIBA, and then they really liked my work on the 3-on-3 circuit. So they asked if I wanted to shoot 5-on-5 basketball. I was like, duh, that's what I do. So from there, simultaneously, I'm doing all the Nike NYC stuff, I'm doing stuff with Bounce Magazine, and I'm doing stuff with FIBA, so I'm traveling with FIBA. Then I get the 5-on-5 opportunity, so now I go to the Basketball World Cup. Or the FIBA Americas in Venezuela. I was in Venezuela for a month, documenting that. And then from there, like I bounced around to so many different countries all over the world. I did the Basketball World Cup in 2014 or 15 in Spain, which is awesome. That was when Team USA won with Kyrie. That was really cool. And it was cool because I wasn't with Team USA. I was with Spain, the host country. So all their games were crazy, right? Super loud.
It was loud. It's loud.
Amazing fans everywhere. It was really, really incredible to kind of watch that journey. And it was set up so that Spain could meet the U.S. in the championship.
Right.
And that's just the way the format was. And I'm sure most people were expecting that.
Right.
But in one of the greatest basketball games I've ever seen, and I've seen some great ones in person, France defeated Spain, and it was like just this brilliant performance.
That was Tony, right?
Nicholas Batum. No, Tony Parker wasn't there actually. No, he was. I think he was hurt that summer. He still was.
What was it?
The Colo was on the team. I don't know if he played the 1 or not. I forget who the point guard. It wasn't Frank. Frank Kingdom was probably
he was like the third
preteen.
Right.
So I forget who their point was. It might have been the Colo, but they had a squad. I mean, they had a good team. But it was Batum though. Batum.
I remember that.
Killed. It was so amazing to see basketball at that level And it's like you expect to see a big upset in like March Madness or high school hoops.
Right.
You don't necessarily expect to see a big upset on the world stage. Everybody, you got what you got. And Spain had their whole crew.
Mark Powell.
They had Mark Powell and Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
Like the front court.
It's
crazy.
Maybe a Hall of Famer in there.
Yeah.
Wow, a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So it was just an amazing game to be part of. But anyway, so that was a beautiful thing. And I'm meeting these amazing people from around the world and speaking with different languages, and it's just a beautiful thing. And then finally, the director of communications comes to New York. We were hanging out, and he says, "Hey, what do you think about shooting the Olympics?" I was like, "What?" I guess that's been like my dream.
Right.
Of course, I would love to do that. But so this was like maybe 2000, probably after the World Cup. But I was like, I'm not gonna believe it until I'm actually there.
I get that ticket.
And I went. It was an amazing milestone achievement for me.
That's gonna be like the pinnacle for every athlete, number one, and then particularly for somebody that's shooting it. That's got to be like one of a benchmark for everyone to reach on goal.
I thought about it like, Jim Collins in Good to Great says, you gotta make a big, hairy, audacious goal, right?
Yep.
And then just see what you can do. So when I started with photography, I thought like, man, I don't want to be I never wanted to be just an average basketball player.
Right.
I wanted to be the top
The best. You want to make it to the league.
Exactly. Right. And so same thing with photography. I thought like, okay, I'm gonna need to have some kind of barometer, so I need to like establish this big crazy goal. So I was like, I think I want to be the best basketball photographer in the world. Right? Now, I still to this day I don't even know what that really means.
Right.
It's something to work toward, right? So then I thought to myself, okay, well, how would I define that? Well, what does that entail? And the first I thought, okay, well, that person probably photographs the Olympics, right? And I'm thinking about some of the other influences, like the Nat Butlers and the Neil Lifers, like all these like legendary photographers who have shot these and they have these legendary images. Nat Butler shot the John Starks dunk.
Jordan. The baseline one?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyway, I'm thinking about this, okay, Olympics, I got no contacts to get me there. The NBA, got no contacts to get me there, but I'm gonna try. NCAA, got no contacts to the college games. At the time, New York, it was interesting, like, our college basketball scene hasn't been very strong.
Right.
And I wouldn't even know how to reach out to any of them to be like, hey, I want to photograph this program. And then the high school ranks, I was like, I don't even know really how to get into that, but I had the playgrounds. So I started from the playgrounds, and I just, for years, I'm going to these parks every single day, just working, making millions of terrible photos until I finally figured it out. The same way I did, like when I first started hooping, I was terrible. I was always picked last. And we used to decide who the captain was by shooting free throws. So what I did was I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be picked last. I'm gonna be nice in my free throw game so I can be the captain.
You're on my team.
You might not pass to me, but I'll pick you the score. So I used to go to the park like 4 hours before everybody came outside, just working my free throws. Like I'm gonna figure this thing out.
But the only time I got double rims, that's just the hard thing to work.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure that out. But again, like all these values transcend the basketball court to everything else in my life. And so the same thing I thought was true with photography. So I'm going, and I think when you think about it, right? Like Gersh, Dykeman, what sport doesn't really play at night because they don't have any lights anyway. Orchard Beach doesn't play at night, you know what I'm saying? LES Express now, they play at night. Yeah. The lights are terrible. Right. It's really terrible. So I figured, man, if I can make a good image under these conditions, wait till I get to the league.
With real lights. With real lights.
If I have a professional lighting setup, like, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah, that's dope, man. You had a phrase earlier, you went from the playgrounds. What was the phrase?
Yeah, on my Instagram, people follow me on my bio, it says, my jump shot didn't get me to the league, so my snapshot did. Right. And I went, straight from the playgrounds all the way to the Rio Olympics through my journey.
You have to be, based upon that phrase in of itself, one of the more popular street basketball and also moved up the ranks as far as, because there's only you and Cassie, Athena. That's all that I know from the basketball world is on that level. Granted, we have a lot of people that's doing it on, videography, doing great jobs. They're doing a lot of that stuff. But on that level, I only see, I'm not knocking anyone as you two. How does that feel when you walk into a venue, a gym, whatever the case may be, and people in that world say, that's Jon Lopez. that's our Gordon Parks right there.
That is high praise. High of praise. I do, you know, I get a lot of questions, and I grew up in a youth program, and so like I know what it's like to have a mentor and to pass that down. So I've been raised, you know, to just pay everything forward. So I look forward to, you know, respond to all the questions I get, via DM or in person. It's a humbling feeling, to be honest, you know, because for a long time I was wondering, like, is this going to be viable? Can I support myself doing this? Right? We haven't even talked about like the money side of all of this. Right? This is an expensive.
No, talk about it, because a lot of people think they buy a camera, not a photographer. You know, they're a photographer. Same in the training world. You know, I got 2 basketballs in the court. Now I'm a trainer now. Just look yourself in the mirror and say, I am a trainer. But in all actuality, there's a lot that goes into it. Speak about how expensive, time-consuming, and how you're going to get, you know, certain things done when you have to be a photographer.
Yeah. So, as I said, after college, I worked at the Boy Scouts of New York, which is a beautiful organization, the most gratifying work I think I will ever do in my life, and I still keep in touch with most of the young men who I got to meet, who I had the privilege of meeting and working with while I was there. So there's that, but my pockets were very slim. Right. You know, and so to try to pick up on a career, right, to buy a $2,000 camera at that time was like, I need to save up. Right. You know? So I did. I would save up. I got my first camera, it was the Canon 5D Mark II when that first came out. And I couldn't afford too many lenses, I had just a kit lens. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Dykeman photo was taken with like a kit lens. Really? A lot of people think that like you need like all this super fancy equipment to try to make these like impactful images, and the truth is you really don't. I mean, you can do it with anything. Right. Excuse me. It comes down to your own innovation and ideas and working with what you do have available to you. But of course, I did kind of elevate from there. But so little by little, I started deciding, okay, well, I'm not going to purchase any other equipment until my equipment makes money for me. I can't keep using all my savings to do this. So little by little, sure enough, I get a job here and there, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. And I still am by no means am I self-sufficient or independent from a day job. I need to keep my day job. Which was what? The Boys Club. Yeah. Right. And so from the Boys Club, I went to my alma mater, the boarding school I was at, and I worked there for a couple of years coaching teams doing communications work. So I thought it would be a good marriage for me to kind of do communications, to kind of marry my creative interests and storytelling interests with my professional work. Still wasn't a ton of money, I was still working at school, the money that was there, but also gratifying work. And I got to get some of the young men who played for me at the Boys Club team when I was coaching that team. They got to get scholarships and financial aid to go into that school. So that was really cool. And again, super gratifying work that I'll never forget. But anyway, so from there I was there for 2 years, and I started picking up some of my freelance opportunities. Right? Again, still I wasn't 100% sure that it was like enough that I could like pay my bills on it. And mind you, like I say all of this and like I'm living the opposite of a lavish life, right? Like I'm eating a couple noodles for dinner, I'm trying to have the cheapest apartment I can find, I'm trying to keep all my expenses as low as possible because I know that I want to do this thing, but like I know I might not be getting a consistent check every 2 weeks. Right. So to kind of offset that, I'm trying to make sure that my life is not expensive. Right. So that I can afford it. So while I'm at this boarding school, I started getting more jobs and calls. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take my vacation time, I'm gonna go do this job in Florida, go do this one in LA. And then all of a sudden I'm taking sick days and personal days, and I'm like, yo, I need to get out of here. I think it's about that time. So my girlfriend at that time, and now my wife, she actually, at the same time, she fell in love with education. And she got an opportunity to go to Columbia to get her master's. And so that was the perfect time for us to leave because she was going back to school and I was already getting over this work. I figured I would just take the plunge right then and there. So I quit my day job for the first time in my life. I quit a job without having a backup plan. It was terrified. Is this really going to work? Am I going to make enough money? I had saved some money. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to like be homeless in a month or anything like that. But you know, it was a huge risk. And everybody in my family is like, yo, you're bugging. You need a job. What's wrong with you? How are you? What happens if you get sick? If you break a leg and you're playing basketball, you're gonna tear something. What are you gonna do? I was like, of course, I can reach when I get to it. I really love this thing. Because even when I was at the Boys Club, like I'm coming home from work at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm pulling all-nighters, reading blogs, watching videos, subscribing to magazines. I used to sneak in. There's the Photo Plus conference, which is an annual photography conference that happens in New York every fall. I used to sneak in there. I used to wait till security would look around. I'd go into a seminar room.
Really? Was it at the Javits?
I was at the Javits. There's a huge, so many people. It's hard to keep track of everything. So I would sneak into the keynotes because it wasn't that expensive. I guess maybe it was probably I don't know, $250 to get in. I got it. I didn't have that. So I'm I'm gonna learn. But one way or another, I'm gonna figure this stuff out. I'm gonna learn and I want to apply it. So going back to the communication piece. My biggest goal was to try to bring the professionalism of the likes of the NBA and international game to the playgrounds. I wanted, I was working closely with Mousy for a couple of years at Tri-State when I was popping with the Unlimited division. And I think, that was one of the most sought after tournaments to play in during that time because every time we played, there was a write-up about you. I was writing an article about you. I had photos in there. We were making videos. And no other tournament was doing that at that time to that level. So it was so much fun to be a part of. And recently, some of those guys were actually trying out to play because now 3-on-3 basketball is going to be an Olympic sport. And I would say 7 guys who were playing in Tri-State were invited to the group of 16 to compete for that final Team USA spot for the 3-on-3.
Okay.
So it was really cool to kind of see some of those guys from over
No, they're maturing, trying to get to the Olympics. You're already there. You've already been there, I should say. I still can't get over. That's amazing to me. The biggest thing I can equate that to is I've been lucky enough to train in the Philippines, and we had I trained the national team for a little bit, and they competed at FIBA National Asian Olympics, whatever. I forgot what they call it, right? And we walk in, it's in the Philippines. I just did the Philippines team. So I'm you walk in oh my God, there's a billion people here. You can see it segmented by the countries, and it's so loud. Those people treated like gods when they walk in the court. I'm sure it's the same thing in the Olympics. You see the TV, they bang, 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 bang. It's you had to be I came from the Lower East Side.
Yeah, every day. Every day. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from high school. The first person I didn't graduate from college. None of these things were ever expectations for me. All my mom cared about was that I graduated from high school. That was a big. That's it. She could die happy now. Everybody's good. I graduated from high school. Everybody's good. That was a major achievement. And it's been an amazing, humbling journey.
That's crazy. Did you think that your storytelling would go through the lens?
Nah, never did. Like I said, I was not traditionally trained. I took one very introductory film photography course, and later on, I kind of taught myself digital photography and storytelling and composition and all of those things to try to figure that out. And also video editing and colors and cinematography. But I really fell in love with it all. Like I said, that work ethic. I just kind of shifted it over from caring about my step back and my cultures and that to all the different ways I can kind of bring that professional level to the playgrounds. And now the latter part of my career has been bringing that to the grassroots level.
Which is a great because you work with Nike and they do that the summit stuff in LA. What was saying the Academy, Nike Academy, where you actually see some kids that are going to get their hands shaken by NBA scouts and people like that. How's that feel? You see Bo.
Right.
I'm just using another example. You see Bo and you see all those big time players. How's that feel? Wow, I shot him.
Man, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm not as in awe of that and what that means. Maybe time will kind of dictate that in the future. I think I'm just trying to document the history of this and just be play my role in this moment in time for the game, and it means something to all these kids. Even from Ben Simmons and De'Aaron Fox, and Malik Monk and Jason Tatum and those guys, which is amazing. But to me, at this specific moment, when they're in the EYBL, these are just high school kids trying to fight, trying to get scholarships, trying to get a free education. Maybe they're the first generation high school graduates in their family. I don't know.
They're you.
Right. You know what I mean? And so I'm just trying to give them the exposure and kind of bring that professional level of quality work to them. Nike does a great job of setting a very high standard of excellence, and it's an honor to be able to be there and be a part of that. And hopefully that I'm maintaining that level or pushing that bar. Right. At least I try to. No, actually, again, I know too. It's you and Cassie, and primarily because everyone wears her shirts. And she does a great job of marketing on that side. It's just you guys, and I think what made me want to sit down with you is we have so many mutual friends. That's A. And B, nobody tells your story.
You're rarely in front of the camera. I'm sure that people will say, what does Jon Lopez even look like? Like, we see his photos, but what does he look like? And little do they know that you're from Lower East Side, you're Hispanic, you play basketball, you play the same leagues that everyone else that grew up in that ever played it, pre-gentrification in the Lower East Side. And you're a regular dude. You just have a special talent. And I think that's the biggest thing that we forget. Like, we get put up on these pedestals that we don't even put ourselves on. People just think that we're different, like we're regular.
Yeah, I saw Roy Lively on your show talking about that. You know, I got the great opportunity. There have been so many blessings in my life, and it's like I pre-visualized all of these things. It didn't come to me in the form of a camera. I was pre-visualizing. Right? I was pre-visualizing Patrick Ewing drawing double, kicking out to the corner, hitting the three, getting that championship. You know what I'm saying? Getting rings with the Knicks. That's be so badly deserved.
Now,
but you know, but seeing, you know, listening to Bobbito talk about his experience was amazing. He was saying how, you know, he was a raw, great defender, and that's what it was. You know, and he just worked hard, and it was never going to be how it worked. And I think that's kind of what I did. I found my niche in grassroots and playground basketball, and I was never going to be how it worked.
Right.
In a sense, you know, Malcolm Gladwell says, you know, you need 10,000 hours to be truly great at anything.
Right.
I got at least 10,000 hours on playgrounds.
Yeah.
You know, and now I probably have that in the professional ranks as well.
Who would you say? And I know that. What is the best shot, excluding the Dykeman shot? The best shot that you've taken, and this is not to discredit any of your other shots, but which one's your standouts?
Man, that's a tough one, Mike. You know?
Yeah.
I love, first of all, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. You know what I'm saying? But I love all of my work. I think recently I was in China for the Basketball World Cup, and Argentina was kind of this. They had this unlikely underdog story. When no one, I think, picked them. I mean, they played well, but everyone thought that, you know, it was going to be the U.S. to dominate, maybe Australia, and I think Spain was supposed to also be down that year. But anyway, Argentina kind of took the tournament by storm. Greece was huge because you have Giannis playing MVP, you know what I mean, and they ended up struggling ultimately. But anyway, Argentina has this huge win, and you know, the late great Kobe Bryant was sitting just a few seats beside me, and I was able to hear his commentary on the game, and he was so into it. It was really amazing to have that seat. I didn't get the best seat in the house, obviously. But Argentina had this really unlikely win over, I forget who, I don't want to get the wrong team in, but they had this win that no one expected them to get. And Luis Scola, who is the elder statesman of the whole tournament, he's still playing.
Right, he's like 39, right?
And he's going hard though. Like, he looked like a gazelle. He was sprinting like just a happy 17-year-old. So anyway, the game is over. He sprints towards where I am on the corner, on the baselines, and he sprints over there towards where the fans are. And he's just waiting there. And I thought, that's interesting. Everybody was focused on all the attention that was happening on the court. So people were greeting Kobe and everything, which was some good shots. But I was wondering why he was waiting there. And then sure enough, his wife and children came down in the stands, and he gives his wife a hug and a kiss, and his sons are like hanging from him. Like, all these fans are all around. And I captured that moment, and it was such a beautiful, powerful thing. Like, this is a guy who, he might not be playing professionally the next time this opportunity comes up. You know what I mean? He might. He says he will.
He's just rushing it all.
He's just taking it all in, and you could really see like the purity of the game in that photo, what it means to him and his family, and how supportive they must be for this guy to be from Argentina, to compete in the NBA for so many years, to play for the national team, and to just give his all to the game. That was really, really beautiful. Another would be perhaps any of my photos of the Olympics. Right? It was such a dream of mine. As a kid, I aspired to earn a gold medal with Team USA or Team Puerto Rico in the Olympics. And, you know, to be there was amazing. I got this one photo of Carmelo, which, you know, it's kind of cool because he and I are about the same age, you know. And he, before the game, he has this little warm routine where he just kind of grabs the ball and he's just familiar with it. And I got this photo of him hugging the ball that kind of went viral on other people's social channels, not mine. But it was really cool to be able to kind of capture that moment
That's dope, man. I remember this little school when I was like, because he did all of that, he did all of that, you know, parades and all that stuff. It's coming to an end.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying, like, it's coming to an end, and I love my family because they were here for me. I love my country.
Yeah. So powerful.
Yeah, that's crazy powerful. I ain't gonna hold you. Quick, we're gonna do something quick. Best place to film. We could do streets.
Well, I was gonna go streets anyway.
Okay, appreciate it. Gersh. Great environment.
Amazing environment. I love it. Gersh, I think right now is a raw representation of what playground basketball in the city is.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
They have the like lounge chairs in the front.
Yeah.
It's like old EBC back in the day.
Yes.
Who would you like to shoot at some point? Who's on your bucket list?
Obviously somebody who's living.
Right.
Sheesh. That's a tough one. I feel like I want to maybe switch over, do more women's sports.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing some women's sports. I shot the women's national teams at the Olympics, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did some stuff, do some of that stuff with FIBA now. But Team USA is women. I would love to photograph them some more. I hope I get an opportunity in Tokyo.
I thought you were going to say soccer, because soccer is huge.
And very difficult, yes. Very difficult. If I left basketball, I would definitely love to get into soccer, especially in a different country, like not here.
Especially you have the FIBA plug, although I grant it's a basketball plug, but the soccer plug must be different. But
yeah,
that environment must be,
I know,
over there must be crazy.
So crazy. I can only imagine.
You feel it through the TV.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Which country would you like to have gone to or go to at some point to film?
Australia.
It looks beautiful, right?
Yeah, gorgeous. And New Zealand, you know, I love to go over there. And Australia, yeah. Australia, New Zealand, like that whole area, Oceania. I want to get over there. I've been fortunate to be in China and Europe and up and down the Americas. And obviously Africa. You know, Africa now we have the new NBA.
The league, right?
I would love to get out to Africa.
Yep.
To several of the different countries there to shoot. But Africa and Oceania are the last two continents that I haven't been to. So.
Wow. That's fine. And you just started from LAS.
That's right.
What's next?
Whew, man, next I continue to try to reinvent the EYBL, reinvent myself and what I'm able to bring to the table for them.
No, you just do the boys?
I'm working on trying to do more with the girls. I did some work with the girls last year. I'm trying to do more of that this year as well. Just covering the landscape again, just doing more grassroots stuff. Same thing, I want to bring that professional level down to the grassroots and hopefully inspire other young people to learn. I see so many young people, especially like in the parks now. I said when I started wearing many cameras, now there's plenty of them.
Right.
I see so many young people picking up cameras and coming to the parks. It reminds me of myself a decade and a half ago. And I want to help them.
Do they reach out to you?
Some do.
Really?
And I definitely always answer, as I said, I'm always trying to uplift and empower them.
Because that New York pride wouldn't let most people reach out there for help.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there are some who want to and they just think that, you know, they assume I don't have time to respond or something like that. I try to do that because, like I said, I didn't have that when I was coming up, and I really wish I had somebody who could specifically be like, yo, this is how I did my settings, this is how you can do this. But you know how it is. There's no shortcut to success. You know what I mean? Like the best way to get there is to just do it. Right. And you got to get up there and do it.
One thing I like to let the younger let the younger photographers and also trainers know is that the grind is important. But like you mentioned earlier, your network becomes your network. And I know I spoke about it with my phone, and knowing pretty much a lot of people, and you working on the balance, and that led to this and led to that. It's sometimes, sadly, it's not what you know, but it's who you know.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting, man. I was very fortunate. Again, I had all these different opportunities. You know, last season I was fortunate to be able to document the Knicks, which is where I worked with L'Oreal pretty frequently. And I also shot my first cover for Slam magazine at the end of last year, which was also just before I went to China for my second FIBA World Cup. Another one of these things was I delivered a keynote talk at my alma mater at Kool Bob University to talk to sophomores and alumni about careers and creative fields. And one of the things I wanted to convey was like, so many people, when you go to these like prestigious universities and everything, like everybody tells you how good you are, how important the network is, and it's true, networks are super important, no question about it. But a lot of times, like, excuse me, I feel like people forget the basic steps, you know? A young person called me up recently, and they asked me, you know, about careers in sports, and how do I get involved, and this and that, and do you have somebody you can put me in touch with, to do this and that? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I know everybody. But nobody's giving out jobs. Nobody's just gonna say, hey man, I got a 6-figure salary. Wait, I was waiting for you to call. As a matter of fact,
so long.
You know what I mean? Like that's not the way it works.
Right.
And that's what I've learned, you know, and I'm not discrediting the importance of your network. Your network is immensely important.
But you're part of their network, so you help them understand what is really needed for them to understand how to get to the next level.
I think the important piece is character. Right? I think that's the part that people skip out on. It's like when people say like it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right. And
there's truth in that. But I think, and it's, like I said, some people start at the top. Some people get to make the $1 million mistakes, the greatest. You know what I mean? Some of us don't get that opportunity. But regardless of that, what are you doing to put yourself in this situation?
Right.
And what's your character like? I tell you know when I spoke at my message was like treat everybody like you're going to see them again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like. We met at Harlem Children's Home, right? And we've been in the same circles for
years.
You know what I mean? We only met just a few years ago at Harlem Children's Home. And it's like, you could have easily brushed me off or vice versa, or just don't talk to each other, but like, nah, like treat everybody like you're gonna see them again. You know, it doesn't cost you anything to be kind.
Right.
You know, and you never know how that might come into play later.
That's true, because if you were a dickhead to Bobbito back in the days, just hooping, now it doesn't lead to bounce, it doesn't lead to this, or whatever the case may be. And me, same thing, working out with Ben Gordon, doesn't lead to this, doesn't lead to that. You just never know. Treat everyone. You know, there's a phrase, treat everyone like a custodian or something along those lines.
Yeah, I definitely. I treat the custodian the same way as I treat the CEO.
Right. That's true shit.
I mean, it's so important. I think you don't have a network if you can't do that.
Right. And
also, like so many people, they know you have all these contacts, so they only want to be your buddy because they know what you can get them.
Right.
Nah, like I want to give, but I don't want anything in return.
Yeah.
I don't want anything in return. When these young people or people in general reach out to me for tips and advice, I'm happy to share that.
Right.
I don't want anything in return.
Yeah.
You know, that's just who I am, and I hope they pass that forward.
Right. Yeah. They both. Man, it's a great talk. Jon Lopez. Where can they find you? Socials.
I'm at Jon Lopez 13 on Instagram. No Asian John. And because it wasn't available on Twitter, I'm at Jon Lopez 1 spelled out.
Okay. Get him up. Got good stuff. One of the world's famous